Hello Hero, it's Lucy Lonhorn. I should say before we begin that the camera so far in bulk filming these oak lunation cycle readings has been kind of swerving, tilting. There's not a whole lot I can do about it with the setup, so I do apologise if it goes a little bit skew-whiff during this, but hopefully the information will remain as relevant as ever. These are general readings, so take what resonates, leave the rest, and please check out the rest of my channel if you want something more in-depth or on a different issue than whatever comes up here. But this should be relevant today to the full moon in Capricorn, which is an oak moon, and the kind of following disseminating few days period. Lunation is exact within half an hour of me uploading this, so this is relevant right now. But if you are stumbling upon it at a different time, that's absolutely fine as well. There may just be something in here for you that directs you to the rest of my channel. Today we are using the Aquarian Tarot, one of my old favourites. I think it was the first deck I ever had actually. As well as the archetype cards, which one of them's just leapt out already. My DIY love deck, which may or may not be for love in this context, and the This Day I Am activity cards for mental health. Let's get started with your shuffle. If you are interested in me, if you like my style, if you think you might want to check out anything else, other playlists include channeling, cartomancy, love readings, A to Z lucky dips based on colour, all kinds of stuff, as well as try before you buy readings that are a kind of sample, more general version of stuff that you can get in my shop in case you can't afford purchase at this time, or you just want to see whether it would be worth your money to do so. I can't think of anything else to say, so I'm going to continue this shuffle with a whistle and then do a quick cut, and we'll speak about what's going on for you. Right, I'm just going to say it, guys. I think this one is a love reading. I don't think there's any other interpretation available. And I also think it's for a connection that is either new or in its early stages. So if that's not you, please do check out something else on the channel. You found me for a reason, and perhaps that reason is to click on another lucky dip or something that you know will be relevant. And like I said before, the playlists are all available on my main page, and the link for my shop is down below if that is you. If you do want a love reading, then my. Firstly, we're going to discuss your activity, getting my bake on. Some of you are bakers. For some of you, this will be an activity you can do with someone, or there is an element of cooking with somebody as a date thing, or like cooking for a partner, something along those lines. But if you're terrible in the kitchen, or that just doesn't sound like fun to you, then what I was getting with this is the history of gingerbread, right? And for some of you who are magical or folkloric practitioners, you already know it's quite a complex thing. Gingerbread cookies were kind of one of the OG love spells in various places around the world. That doesn't mean that it was a straightforward or indeed fairy tale process to get there. So I will leave you to your own research in terms of gingerbread. And if you feel uncomfortable with any of the practices described, then what I will say is that you absolutely don't have to go through with all of that. But I think what's important here is the idea of baking the spirit of a thing into something that you then give somebody else. And if that's not in a literal putting things in the oven way, I'm hearing bun in the oven, so use protection, some of you. If that's not literally baking for somebody, then it's a process of creating something with care for somebody else that has, what do I want to say? Not a manipulative quality to it, but has a magical element of persuading that person to be something to you that they're not currently, right? I've realised I'm one card short, so we're just going to take the top one from the shuffle I did, and it's the Ace of Cups. So this is further combination that this is indeed a love reading. For anybody who's confused as to where you stand at the moment, This may be someone that you met through your professional network or who has a broader network than you, which has left you feeling a little bit threatened or unsure. Although the light attribute of the networker says enhances unity through the sharing of information and engenders social awareness and empathy. So this could be an empath, you could be an empath, or you could have been kind of sharing stuff that was in a productive sense and it's evolved into something bigger. That will be confirmation for some, it will be guidance for others, because we're in a general reading, so not everything will hit for everyone. This thing interests me. I only ever see us as being friends. Would you want that? And we've also got a 2 of Cups in the reading. But as you can see, we've got a 10 of Cups, an Ace of Cups, and a 10 of Pentacles. This is not a connection where you are just friends. I think it's possible that the other person involved wants you to think that, or more pertinently, wants themselves to think that, because they're uncomfortable with things going at anybody else's pace. That doesn't mean that they're uncomfortable with this thing developing, but what I will say is that they need to be given the illusion, baked into the relationship, that it's them who's setting things to their particular timeline, that it's them who holds all the cards, etc. And if you're drawn to this reading, I would suspect that you're already somebody who's relatively proficient in letting the people around you believe what they need to believe, whilst continuing to know that you hold the cards in many cases, right? A lot of the people who come to my channel are drawn to similar things that I am, sort of the history of glamour in a folkloric sense, things to do with social engineering manipulations, maybe even kind of seduction magic and sacred dark feminine type stuff. That doesn't all need to hit for you, but just know if you are from any of those kinds of circles, you already know how to make this person think, yeah, I'm fine with just friends, and take it to somewhere that you actually want it to go. The other interpretation of that is that for many of you, you've been manifesting this through law of assumption type practices. And this is a case of me reminding you that if your outer circumstances are a reflection of this person saying, hey, I just want to keep this casual, or I just want to keep this as friends, you know the truth of that underneath whatever it is that they're saying in, I want to say the 3D, right? Because that's what the term is. And you know that you hold a little bit more power, personal mobility, and indeed ability to attract in whatever you want than what your circumstances are suggesting right now. With the 10 of Swords coming up, I do think there is a sense of fatigue from you about whatever it is that this person has fed back, about the pace that they're moving things, about how much of a burden it is to kind of carry this relationship on what feels like your back or indeed front. And with the Tower card coming up, there may have been a recent communication with you, swords, that was something to the effect of, hey, I really like you, but like, we're only friends, obvs. I want to step in and say, dog shit, don't believe a word of it, it's fine. And you've stumbled upon me today, or indeed subscribed, thank you kindly, for me to tell you that it's fine. This is moving in the direction that you want it to. But what is required first is a bit of a death of the definition of where this relationship was. Now, I suspect that's happening at their end and not yours because of everything we've talked about, but it may involve a very direct communication because of this Ace of Swords with roses, which I take to be love magic, as well as many other things. This thing of you're so intensely interesting, I think this is what your person would feed back to you. And even if they're in a spot where they're sort of loudly broadcasting that they only ever want a friendship or situationship, interest is where you will hook them in. So for you to say, yeah, I'm completely fine with that, and not push them because they may have been pushed by other people in their network with them being popular, right? They may have had kind of pick me energy at them before that was trying to be very persuasive. So if you agree along with them and say, yeah, I'm only after something like that as well, that's absolutely fine. but you use interest and shared interests as the secret ginger you're sprinkling into your cookies at this time, then I think things are going to turn around for you pretty fast, maybe even by the end of the disseminating phase. And remember that when we talk about the full moon, we're talking about the fruition of manifestation. Last time round, we got the ultimate wish card. This time round, we're getting the absolute pinnacle of a relationship, along with a card about legacy, planning the future, going a long way with someone, and a soulmate indicator card. So I'm not going to use the T word or the TF words, but I am going to say this is a very significant relationship. You understand that on a sort of deep intuitive cups level. I'm not sure that they fully understand it yet, but I think they're on the brink of it. And I think that the way to pull them into that understanding, hiccups confirmation, is not to approach this from such a cups energy, but instead to be practical and to be communicative in a way that piques their interest, ignites their passions, makes them realize what it is that they could lose if they don't take it further, but doesn't push or pressure them into anything they're not ready for, and instead says, yes, I absolutely see you as a friend, and what a wonderful friendship it is, and how much I fancy you even though we are friends. And by the way, have you seen this interesting thing? And by the way, do you share this hobby that I've been doing for several years that's actually quite impressive? And by the way, I'm going to this event, I'm going to this gig, whatever it is. Did you want to come? Right? This might also require research from your end. I don't advocate online stalking, but when I do, I think there's stuff about this person that you're hearing from your friendship circles, or maybe even just from their social media or something, that can give you a hint as to how to pique their interest next. And I would absolutely take that opportunity. If it falls flat, no harm, no foul, right? You're already in a position in this relationship where they're not going to not be your friend because of something you suggest doing together or because of something you talk about. Instead, this is kind of a chance for you to say, you didn't see a certain aspect of me before. Let me look into how to portray that to you in a way that is still very arm's length, that makes you feel safe, that doesn't push you out of what is potentially like an avoidant space just for the moment, and instead makes you so interested, so compelled, so spellbound by the baked goods, literally in some cases, that they sort of shift their focus and go, well, maybe it isn't a friendship. Should I have said that? And we'll see where it goes from there. All right? I hope that was helpful. If you want more detail, there is a playlist, of kind of love transmission readings and or future spouse type stuff. You can check that out, or you can book with me privately if you want something really specific to you and your person. But I hope in either case you do subscribe, maybe even check out the previous lunar reading just for a bit of clarification on this, and join me for the next one when we will be discussing the kind of last quarter to balsamic phase of this month and how this relationship or just your kind of understanding of things will progress forward. Take care. I'll see you next time.